Hello and welcome to the channel. You guys are tuning in to another episode of Skate and Talk. Got my man with me, Warren. Say what's up to the people, Warren.
Hey, what's going on? This is Warren, one half of the 404 Creators podcast, and I'm glad to be on the show.
What's up, man? What's up? One of my favorite guys in the ATL. Today we'll be discussing kind of an infamous topic of the top 5 reasons why people don't wear helmets.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of a touchy subject.
It really is a touchy subject. Say, yo, what is the catalyst for this episode? And it was really 2 catalysts. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, Warren, that there was a young man, a college student. I think he was a student at Cal State Pomona in California. He actually died on his e-skate, and he fell off, and apparently he wasn't wearing a helmet, and he actually passed away. Young kid. I think they said he was like less than 21 years old. So that was one of the catalysts.
Sad.
Yeah, man, it really, really sad. So that was one of the catalysts. And then I didn't tell you this though, Warren. I would say about a month and a half, someone hit me up and they DM me on Instagram and they said, yo, Lansing, can you please do a video about the importance of wearing helmets? And they had this really long message, and they explained that they actually fell with no helmet on, hit their head, and he said that he's actually having symptoms of traumatic brain injury. He said he has memory loss and things like that from falling off of his e-skate. So he's like, man, can you please just talk about helmets and, you know, the need to wear helmets? So I think we got a good catalyst to get it going, man. So we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons why people don't wear helmets and just have a little e-skate conversation about it. So I would say that one of the things that I've heard a lot is people say that I currently don't have a helmet right now because I'm saving to buy this helmet. And oftentimes it'll be like a more expensive helmet, $300, $400, $500 helmet. So in the meantime, they wear nothing while they're saving up for the other helmet.
Honestly, that really makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to actually have a Ruroc helmet, and I love this helmet. I mean, it's saved my, I'm a pretty wild rider. Like I ride pretty extreme. I'm not the most cautious rider, but I don't play around with helmets. So I make sure that I wear my helmet. But it's not out of any incidents that I had or anything like that. Like I've been riding for about 4 years, coming up on 4 years now, and I've only had one accident where I actually fell and actually hit my head. It was a very humbling experience, but I was glad that I wore my helmet because I felt almost nothing. But before I had that helmet, I had like a cheaper helmet. It's like a burn helmet. It probably cost me like maybe $100 tops. But you can get even cheaper helmets than that. And I say to the people who say they're saving up for something more expensive, don't wait for something more expensive. Just get something to protect your head. It doesn't have to be full face. If you can't afford it, you can buy like cheaper helmets on Amazon as long as they're like DOT certified. Just get something to protect your head. You don't have to wait until you get the coolest helmet in the world or get what your friends have, like a TSG or something like that. Just get something to protect your head. Anything is better than nothing.
It's interesting that you say that because I did a video probably about 6 months ago, kind of discussing helmets and things like that. And in that particular video, the title was, I think, why it's hard for me to buy a $400 or $500 helmet. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and really what I was talking about, I'm not dissing any helmet out there, but really it was just to emphasize that you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get a helmet, just like what you said, that is certified. And a lot of people ask me what helmet that I'm wearing in my videos when I do reviews and stuff like that. And when I tell them that it's a helmet that I got on Amazon that's DOT certified, they only pay like $60. People be like, what? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's a good looking helmet for $60. So like you said, I think that that's always an interesting one. And I think that people maybe can buy a less expensive helmet while they're still saving up to buy that more expensive helmet. I think it's important.
Honestly, everything that you said is absolutely true. So really, there is no excuse to not buy a helmet, especially, if you're talking about cost. Now, I know these electric skateboards are pretty expensive for a lot of people. So, but I would say when you're planning on buying an electric skateboard, just factor that into the cost. Just automatically just factor it in that you're gonna pay, whatever the skateboard is, and factor the cost of the helmet, whether it be like $60 or $100 or whatever. Just factor that in because I guarantee you the helmet is gonna be cheaper than whatever medical bills you have to pay if you don't protect yourself.
Yeah, man. I think that that's good right there, and I think it's a great segue into number 2. And one of the other reasons that I hear a lot is people say things like, "I've been riding for years, and so I don't need a helmet. I'm incredibly skilled at riding the board." And I always thought that one was interesting because even in a lot of the skate groups that I'm a part of, and you just see people posting different things, even some of the most skilled riders fall.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it, it doesn't matter how good you are. It all depends on the people that are on the road with you. And I look at it as the same concept. You know, when my dad was teaching me how to drive, he was saying it doesn't matter how good of a driver you are if you can't, you know, because you can never predict what another driver is going to do. And same thing with another rider. It might be somebody who, you know, how might be out there like hot dogging or like, you know, carving or something like that. And they might carve into the back of you. And next thing you know, you're flying off your board. And that's something you can't account for. You could be the best rider in the world and never fall by yourself. But especially when you're riding in a group, or you might go down, you know, like you might want to explore the city or something like that. And you come across, you know, a pothole that you didn't see coming, or you just wasn't paying attention, or a car might come out of the way. You can't account for anybody else. So you could be as skilled as you want to be, but you can't account for other people's reckless driving, or other, you know, riders next to you doing something foolish.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, like you said, when you're riding electric ridables, they ride pretty quick. And like you said, potholes, even something as small as debris on the road could really mess things up. So even no matter how skilled you are, a lot of it, there's so many outside factors besides your skill level that can impact the situation happening. I remember when I was riding my motorcycle, and I rode for many years, I never had a hard fall. And you won't believe the reason why I fell when I did fall finally. Some doggone sand on the ground.
What happened?
Some sand.
Wow.
Somebody slammed on their brakes in their car in front of me without signaling, and they made a quick right turn. They were about to miss their right turn. So then they slammed on brakes to make their right turn, and then I had to slam on brakes, and I tried to go around them, and it was just a little sand on the ground. That was it. Mm-hmm. You know, and I had been riding for years and consider myself relatively skilled, but like you said, it's those outside factors that can make a difference, you know, when you're talking about riding a board or whatnot. And
absolutely.
I think that takes us to perfect segue into number 3, man, which is...
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
New True to Life merch. Budget board, premium board, boutique board. Nah, ESK8. It's all about the community. Get your merch using the link below. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Which is, I think some people, with just skateboarding in general, like I've been skateboarding for, I think 4 years now. And I started skateboarding regular boards because my son and we passed the skate park, and we were just watching these crazy skateboarders doing crazy stuff at the skate park. And it was just so fascinating to us. And we ended up buying regular skateboards and started skating. And shameless plug, we wrote a book about it, skateboarding.
Awesome.
But even out there, you see guys doing crazy tricks, you know, dropping in the bowls, jumping off of stairs, and they never wear helmets. And I think that sometimes that philosophy of like riding a regular skateboard transitions and translates into e-skate, where people say, look, people don't wear helmets during skateboards while they skateboard.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that happens. People will, because there are a lot of riders. I mean, I used to ride skateboards as a kid, mm-hmm. and a lot of my skill set translates over to e-skate as far as like balance and control and understanding the board, and you know, a lot of that translates over. But all of the good things translate, but your bad habits will translate over too. So mm-hmm. if you didn't wear a helmet when you were riding a regular skateboard, you're probably not gonna wear a helmet when you ride an e-skate, which is crazy because the amount of the speeds that you can get up to, the things that the crazy things that can happen, like your brakes going out, or you know, a car going in front of you. Because a lot of times people are not riding their regular skateboards in the street; they're probably riding in a park or in a sidewalk or you know, somewhere in a safe neighborhood.
Exactly.
But when you're on an electric skateboard, you're in the street next to cars. There's so many more things that can happen, and for you to not wear a helmet in the street, is insane because that concrete it's gonna come at you fast, and you're gonna wish you had one on a lot of times.
And you know one of the things that I learned kind of early on, and I've yet to fall on my electric skateboard. Knock on wood. I ain't got no wood next to me, but maybe you can knock on some wood for me.
I got you.
Yeah, but I've never fallen before. But when I do see videos of people falling, or when I've seen people fall next to me while we're riding, most people think that they know what to do when they're gonna fall, and that they'll be in control of the fall. But a lot of times when you fall on the e-skate, because of the speed that you're traveling, you can't really determine how you're going to fall. You know, a lot of regular skateboarders, I fall in a lot of my regular skateboard, and I never hit my head and never even came close to hitting my head. But I've seen so many people when they ride e-skate, it is very common for them to hit their head because the momentum that you have when you fall, it doesn't allow you to really brace yourself very well in some situations. That's why people break wrists, or a lot of people hit their head, or there's even people that have worn helmets in the group that I've seen fall, or just you see videos and they don't realize that they've hit their head, and they get up and they look at the helmet, it's got a scratch on it, and the helmet saved them. But
that's exactly what happened to me on my one fall. on my one fall, I had one fall, and it was after I got my Ruroc helmet, and I still got the scratch from it. I know exactly where I hit it at. But it was perfect conditions, but like the night before it had rained like really bad, and we were going like under this bridge where a lot of mud had slid onto the driveway where we was at. So I wound up hitting a patch of mud, and my back wheel hit it and spun the wrong way, and my board just slid out from under me, and I wound up hitting my head right on the ground. And I wasn't even worried about that. I hit my head, but I didn't even think about it because I was trying to roll out the way to avoid other people rolling me over on their boards because it was like 5 people behind me. So I had to do like a combat roll. But, you know, like one of the worst things is like you always expect to like fall like a stuntman, like you tuck and roll and like roll out the way. It don't happen like that at all. But it doesn't work like that. The very first thing I did was actually put my hand down, which is the worst thing you can do because I almost broke my wrist. Like I hit my head. You know, well, first I braced myself, and that didn't work because my wrist kind of rolled, and then I hit the side of my head, and it's just like you can't plan for that. If I didn't have my helmet on, then I would have probably been knocked out and then ran over because I wouldn't have been able to move out the way. So my helmet actually saved my life and probably saved the people, you know, right behind me, because if I'd have stayed where I was at, they would have rolled right over me, and they would have been injured too. Yep, and I remember that fall, and the crazy thing about what you're talking about is that you weren't going crazy fast over it because we all had saw the mud. You know, like you wasn't doing 30 over the mud and you fell. No. I mean, we had all slowed down to go over the mud, and it still happened. You know, you still hit your head on the ground. So it was, you know, just crazy stuff like that, man. And it could be, you know, really tough. So I think another element that maybe prevents people from wearing helmets sometimes is they want to feel free, and there's an element of looking cool when you talk about, you know, feeling free. And honestly, I mean, like, I'm not proud of this, but I subscribed to that very early on. When I first got my electric skateboard, like I said, I carried over the same bad habits that I had with my regular skateboard. My regular skateboard, I was a kid. I was in California jumping off stairs and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I wasn't Tony Hawk quite yet, but I was gonna get there if I'd have stayed in that state. But I carried over the same bad habits that I had riding my regular skateboard. I did not wear a helmet. I didn't wear pads. I wasn't protecting myself at all. So when I got on my electric skateboard, I was riding in the street. I was, alongside of cars. I didn't want to wear a helmet because helmets look stupid on me, and I didn't really want to wear one. And it just got ridiculous. My wife, she really started talking to me a whole lot more. She was like, I didn't know you. Like, once she found out I was riding in the street downtown in Atlanta with all these crazy drivers, she's like, there's no way you can keep doing that. There's no, you just can't. It's ridiculous. And then, like, it got to a point where even my job, like, my coworkers, like, because, I would use my electric skateboard, like, for, like, work and stuff like that. I'll go to, like, different buildings and, like, work on computers. And my coworkers is like, you're insane to be able to ride that fast on a skateboard and not even think about wearing a helmet. So it's just like, I just kept hearing that over and over again. And then I got around to other people once I started doing a whole bunch of more group rides. it was kind of like that peer pressure thing. It's just like people start telling me like their horror stories about, you know, what happened to them and they hit their head or their friend and they're still recovering. I'm just like, I don't want to be one of those people. You know, I'd rather look stupid wearing a helmet than be stupid because I cracked my head and now I got brain damage. You know what I'm saying? So it just didn't make any sense anymore for me to be, and I'm not young. It's not like I'm a 20-year-old kid and nothing like that. I'll be 40 in a couple months. I'm too old to be like, I'm too old for that. You know? Like, I don't want to be, yeah, I just can't do it. I'm not going to be able to pop back up like, you know, like a young kid. So I'm just like, I have to think about that. I got mortgages and bills and stuff like that to pay. I can't afford to do that. So I said, let me go and put a helmet on. No matter how ridiculous it looks, no matter how crazy it looks on me, I have to wear a helmet because I got way too much to lose.
And you know what, man? That's one of the reasons why I like that there's a lot of companies that are coming out with helmets that do look cool. They do have a cool element to them. Right. And, you know, there's a variety of different brands out there. I don't want to mention any one brand and seem like I'm having favoritism, but there's a lot of different skateboard brands out there where they are making cool looking helmets. And I think that that's pretty dope. And it's one of the reasons why, to be honest about it, when I do my reviews or even when I'm just doing regular videos that I film myself riding with the family, you'll notice we all have helmets on. And I do that because a little bit of me feels like, as a person who's in this space, and I don't think I'm the number one e-skate reviewer or anything like that, but people are watching your videos, and I feel like I personally have an obligation to wear a helmet when I'm doing my videos, so that hopefully somebody else sees him like, you know what, it does look cool to ride with a helmet in that type of situation, or younger kids, younger people, even older individuals. So that kind of stuff, you know, is just real important to me, just to have it on, because I think that you can look and feel cool with a helmet on. You know, put some lights on that thing. You know, I've seen people do all kind of stuff to the helmet. Put your shred lights on there. I got a discount code in the description.
Shameless plug. I like it.
Yeah, so, you know, whatever. LEDs on there. I've seen people put all kind of lights on their helmet. You know, make it look cool, you know?
Put some stickers on there or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then honestly, at the end of the day, like I start to realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how dumb you look, how cool you look, because the worst thing is sitting up in a hospital, you know, with some you know, brain damage or severe injuries when all you had to do was just wear a helmet. Like like when you balance, damn, I look dumb, you know, wearing a helmet versus, you know, I'm sitting in a hospital with all these bills when I could have just put on like a $60 helmet. Those two things don't add up for me. It doesn't really make that much sense to not wear a helmet and you know, realizing everything that you could risk. Me personally, I just don't think it doesn't add up. For my lifestyle, for me, for what I have going on, it doesn't add up for me to not wear a helmet.
I hear you. And I think this is going to take us into number 5, Warren, and which is, you know, some people say that they prefer not to wear a helmet and even other type of, you know, safety gear because it's the comfort level and it's bulky or it's hot, and I don't want to wear this hot helmet, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, it reminds me of my my motorcycle days, man. Of, you know, when you're riding a motorcycle, the wind is blowing, you feel great, but when you stopped at a light, you be burning up sweating, especially if you had on like a jacket. And I remember the one time that I fell, Warren, I actually had on a jacket that day. The one time I fell on my motorcycle. I actually threw that jacket away because I felt like it was a bad luck jacket because I had never fallen. I threw the jacket away,
I can understand that.
But I think a lot of people don't do it because of comfort level. They're like, man, it's hot, this helmet on, and that type of thing, you know?
Yeah, but honestly, a lot of things are excuses, and I can only say that because this is my firsthand experience. I have a full face helmet, and in the summertime, you know, this is not a plug for any particular helmet, just like you said earlier, whatever. But me personally, I have worn a full face helmet in the summertime in Atlanta, and everybody, even if you've never been here, it's hot Atlanta. Like, everybody knows how hot Atlanta can get, even if you've never been here. Humid and everything. I've worn a full face helmet with the goggles on, and there is so much air blowing over my helmet. It's ridiculous. Now, it's expensive, and, you know, and the channel, you know, the air, you know, channels through the helmet. It's like, it's a nicely built helmet, and it does protect your head. So even wearing a full face helmet, there are options that will allow the air to channel through your helmet, and it feels amazing. Even if you're standing still, it feels great. Now, if you don't want to wear a full face helmet, you can still wear like a half shell, just a regular helmet like everybody else wears. And like I said, there are so many different options out there. To say that a helmet is hot, it doesn't add up to me. Like that's not a good enough excuse for me to not wear a helmet.
Yeah. I mean, it's
because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and with this podcast, we were hoping it's not a look down on people who don't wear helmets. I just really felt like I wanted to have the conversation because of what I saw, what happened to that young man. And like I said, he was a college student. I think he said he was like 20, 21 years old, and he's gone,
Yeah.
Because he was probably having a great time on his board, something that we all love to do. We jump on our boards, we ride, and I don't think very many people at all think that they're going to get on their board and then they're not going to make it home that day. Like, I don't think that registers with people. And it's sad, when you hear those kind of things happening to people.
Yeah, absolutely. It really doesn't register. But honestly, some things, just like I said earlier with skateboarding, some things, some habits that you have and some thoughts that you have may carry over from like skateboarding to electric skateboarding. My driving habits carry over into electric skateboarding too. So like one example, every time I get in a car, because I drive in Atlanta, because people can't drive, I'm always expecting to get into an accident. Literally every time I get into a car. Every single day, I'm expecting to get into an accident. Every single day. So it's like it's even worse when I get on my skateboard. I'm expecting a car to hit me every single time. Every intersection I get to, every car that approaches me from the back, I never expect them to see me, and I'm always expecting something to happen, so I act accordingly. I never assume, even going through like an intersection, I never assume that the driver sees me. I want to make eye contact, and even then, they can still be a jerk and still, cut you off or whatever. So, if I'm expecting to get hit all the time, I want to make sure that I have the proper precautions. Now, I don't wear like full body armor like a lot of people do. And I don't even think it's overkill. I just haven't really made that step yet, and I plan on doing it. It's not even like I have to like find the right paths. Like, it's extremely important. I think you should be geared up. As fast as these things go, as dangerous as they are, I want to make my own personal decision to start, gearing up a little bit more. But I think this is where me and a couple other people differ. I'm not sure if I'm stepping on the next subject or not, but I'm not, I'm not really aggressive about, talking to other people and like preaching to other people what they need to do. Like, I still believe, even though I'm personally gonna wear a helmet, I don't wear pads yet, but I'm planning on doing it soon. I'm still not to the point where I want to kind of just push my thoughts and my beliefs on anybody else. Now, because there have been some heated arguments between, really good friends. Like, there's one friend who's like, he's super pro, like, wear a helmet, wear pads, knee pads, elbow pads, all this other stuff. And there's a guy who doesn't wear a helmet at all in the group. And he's had some bad accidents.
Several of them that don't.
Yeah. There are people who had bad accidents and they'll jump up, bleeding and everything, and won't even think about wearing a helmet. There's one guy I gave a helmet to because I was so worried about him, and he didn't wear it, and I never brought it up again.
Yeah.
I never said anything. I feel like, since we're all close and we're all in a group, it's my responsibility to say something to you one time because I care about you. After that, I'm done. I'll never say anything to anybody again, especially if you got into an accident before. If you've cracked your head on the ground and that doesn't make you wear a helmet, me bitching at you is not gonna like, oh, Warren is mad at me and he wants me to wear a helmet. If you hit your head and you bleeding from your head, it's not gonna make you wear a helmet. Me bitching at you is not gonna, take it a step further and make you go make that purchase. So I say it one time and I'm done after that.
Yeah. Because, honestly, that's, one of my biggest fears, man, is, being around someone and they have a catastrophic fall and injury and stuff like that because, it's traumatic for everybody. Us seeing it, them feeling it, experiencing the fall. So, yeah, and hopefully, people that are listening to this particular ESK8 episode don't feel like this is a bashing helmet party type situation. But, me, I just wanted to kind of get it off my chest a little bit from, seeing that article. And then also, that, post, well, that direct message that I received on Instagram from that individual, just being honest and sharing their testimony about what happened to them. So I think I really enjoyed the conversation, Warren, man. I want to thank you for coming on. Do you want to share some of your IG or anything like that with the people?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. This is I was going to say this is our second time. This is actually our third time doing a podcast together. So it's awesome. Yeah, I love the collabs. I feel like an Avenger every time we get together. So that's dope. I just want to shameless plug real quick. I'm one half of the 404 Creators podcast. We got a couple different podcasts about different subjects. We talk about e-skate. We talk about movies, TV shows,
entertainment.
We talk about, hot topics, entertainment, everything. So to check out our stuff, you can on Instagram, you can check us out on 404 Creators on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube. We're on every single platform. We also have a podcast that we do, and we usually drop the episodes every Monday. So go ahead and check us out.
Man, that's dope. Yeah, check him out, guys. Definitely check him out. He's creating some good content out there. Good dude. And for those out there, you guys already know, don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on YouTube at Mr. Phillips the Change Agent. I'm also on Instagram, Mr. Phillips the Change Agent, or Lansing Phillips on Instagram. And then I also have a podcast outside of the ESK8 stuff. It's called Shh, Mom and Dad Are Talking. And just like you said, Warren, it's on all particular platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all of that kind of stuff. So, be sure to check those things out. I always like to conclude my videos with, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Peace.